This is our Unconstitutional Awakening program.
Liftoff will start in T-minus 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have ignition.
Brought to you by Kanye, consultant we designed.
Ahoy there, mateys. It's time to set sail on another episode of Unconstitutional Awakening, the podcast. I'm your host, Jim Bob Ovalshorts, and tonight I've got you guys a cool guest. His name is Ryan Bean. He is the host of Dangerous Worlds podcast. He's into conspiracies and ranting about the things that the normal MSN doesn't talk about. And I figured he'd fit in quite well with the group we have over here for just some good general conversation. Of course, you guys know if you just scroll on down there, you can find the links to get back over to Ryan and everything that he's doing, because we make sure that we share everybody's information out there. And, you know, we like to bring new folks to new folks and so on. It's kind of the way this works, especially that I've made this big new podcast family over there on Instagram, and I keep finding all these fantabulous guests to be bringing on the show for you guys to meet and listen to, and hopefully you go follow them and stuff. So, and of course, you guys can find everything for all of that good stuff over there, everybody's favorite website, unconstitutionalawakening.com, the home for everything us. So when you're over there, you can check out things for the hosts. You can get back to all our social medias. We all have separate sections where we're doing little side projects and sharing the information with you, from urban gardening with Bandit to things that make you go, with everybody else. I mean, there's quite a few variety of things going on in there. So you guys feel free to go on over there and catch up with your favorite hosts. You'll also find links to get back to watch us on Rumble, Odyssey, and BitChute, and as well as some episodes on YouTube. Of course, we all know that's hit or miss because YouTube's kind of nuts. There's also links to get back to where you can listen to us, and you can just listen to us right here on the website. There's also links to get you some sweet Unconstitutional Awakening merch, as well as links to get back to all of our friends in Liberty here: Kirk Elliott, Peachy Key Creations, Ammo Can Survival, and ClassicalLearner.com with Brett Pike and Cubs to Bears books and his Homeschools Connected, man. These are all fantabulous people doing things to change the world for a brighter tomorrow for all of us. So go and give them some support too, man. It's kind of what it is, man. We've all got to build our own support system out in this world today, because you can't trust the system that's already in place. We all know this. The system that's in place is a complete joke. And I like looking for alternatives of all kinds, whether it be some of the people we talk to on the show, or whether it be some of the cool things we talk about here on the show. And I'm always up for new ideas and new, ways to move forward and such. So I look forward to all that kind of stuff. You guys can always feel free to reach out and interact with us on the website. Find me on social media and interact with us there. I'll even interact with you on these episodes, man. Y'all feel free to comment and, leave some information. Heck, we can even chat about making you a guest spot on the show. We're always looking for new guests and new faces to talk to. So feel free to reach out if you'd like to be a guest on Unconstitutional Awakening, the podcast. And also, if there's anybody out there that's looking for a way to get yourself plugged worldwide on some of these fantabulous platforms that I'm on, get with me, man. I've got, man or woman, I've got the best rates in town when it comes to sponsor stuff, and I'll give you that plug. I sure will. Just like our newest buddy over there with doing stuff. Our newest buddy we're doing stuff with over there, Jason Christoffs. He's got a lot of great things going on with his saving yourself from self-sabotage program and stuff like that. There'll be a link with this episode. You guys can go and check that out and see if you can get signed up before it sells out, because it sells out pretty quick apparently. And this is kind of what we're doing though, man. We're building a better tomorrow, and we're just gonna keep on at it. So I guess with that said, let's hop on into this episode and see what it has in store for all of us. How is everyone doing this evening, Ryan? I am so glad that you could join us this evening, man. First things first, if you'd like, I like to make sure everybody knows who I'm talking to. So if you could tell us a little bit about yourself and the show that you run.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. My apologies for keeping you guys waiting. You're very generous. I don't know if you guys mess with DoorDash ever, but I do this on the side a little bit just to try and get a little bit of cash. Dude, I got really caught up in DoorDashing right now. I'll just say that. Okay. I just lost track of time. It was kind of a mess, but I appreciate you guys having me on, man. I run Dangerous World podcast. It's a conspiracy podcast. We talk about all kinds of stuff. I've kind of been drifting a little bit more into like the paranormal and kind of weird stuff like that. I started off talking about a lot about like government conspiracies. We have the Cunt News show.
Yeah, I love that, dude. I was actually checking that stuff out earlier.
Yeah, dude, it's so much fun, man. Like, we just need more people to send us audio messages, voice memos, so that we can, have a full show and we can just talk about whatever people are.
What?
Noted.
I could totally do that for you.
Yeah.
That's what my whole TikTok page is about.
Yeah, just send a video message, not a video, audio message, 30 seconds to a minute. Feel free to plug your show, plug anything that you want plugged, and it's a fun way to do the news.
Sounds like it, man. That's good stuff, though. Always looking for new innovative ideas and stuff, and I dig that. I bet a lot of folks could get into something like that, man. Like I think that's neat.
It's a ton of fun, man. But it was nice meeting you too. On I think we talked at the Tavern is when I met you, and then I met one of your co-hosts. I have not met Neptune or Kaytlyn here. So
you got to meet Luis. He messaged me prior to this and said he was doing some tax stuff, and I was like, I wanted to be like, bro, I can't relate. I didn't know we were still paying taxes around here. I thought that was a thing of the past. Like,
and I was really excited to show him my new microphone. Like,
oh well, he'll probably check this one out just because he wasn't here, and we'll make sure that he knows all about that new microphone because he totally has been on your case about that for a few weeks.
Well, did you have bad audio quality bore or what?
Well, no, I just had
she was raw dogging it on the phone.
Yeah, I had like a wireless headset, and the microphone on that headset sucked. So, and I had an iPhone, so I couldn't plug in headphones to have the microphone there. So
no good.
I just now switched to Android. Long story.
Neptune is actually one of the OGs that started this podcast with me. He's just a real busy man and has been doing a butt ton of work stuff here recently. But I'm so glad you could join me tonight, buddy.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me, Ryan. Nice to meet you, dude.
Yeah, great to meet you too. I like where does Neptune come from? I gotta ask this. I'm sure that your audience knows, but I'm curious.
It's a Navy joke.
Actually, I don't know.
And I have a thing for classical Roman literature as well. So
nice. So it's a Navy and a Roman thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you really? Because I do too.
Yeah.
Roman. Well, I prefer Greek, but
yeah, that's fair. But yeah, so there's an old running joke from many years ago, and it's kind of turned into a whole thing. There's a page called Daily Updates on the Roman Empire. Mm-hmm. And he posts some really funny shit, and I know the guy, and he's a pretty cool dude. But the daily update it's gone. So it is what it is.
Hell yeah, man!
Did you lose that back in the big purge when we lost everything?
What's that? No, it's a guy I know who runs it, and he's run it for many years.
I got you.
We've collaborated on some old memes.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. Me and Neptune lost some hellacious pages for sure back when Facebook hit a good purge. Not long after they wrote that article about us being extremists, they turned around and purged Facebook real big, and
They did the same thing to Instagram.
I'm talking multiple pages that were reaching millions of people a day, and we just all got nuked, like just gone. And
yeah,
it was great.
like after
we did a real good thing with that whole Epstein didn't kill himself.
That was huge, dude. Like, but now it's not even talked about anymore.
No, I still talk about it all the time.
At least once a week. I make sure I remind you that Epstein didn't kill himself, and that John Lennon deserved everything that he got.
Yep.
Well, so what's interesting though is what I'm saying, like when no one talks about it, like you know how it was going around everywhere. You couldn't go anywhere without hearing something about Epstein. And now, other than you guys, I don't really know many people that are talking about it. So it's good that at least you are.
I still do.
Predictive programming is a thing. And it's such a bad thing in society as far as the way we've devolved as a people. I would say. I mentioned this a couple weekends back that, for all the good technology is done, it's also done an incredible amount of harm, especially to the human psyche. Sure. We're more disconnected than we've ever been before. But take, for example, going out to eat, right? You look around, every single person next to you and probably the third guy across from you is going to be looking at their phone. And it's depressing. Like, we have not meaningfully found a way to disconnect ourselves, even for a little while. And I mean, it's taken a serious toll on the mental health of society as a whole, in my opinion. And I think in the predictive programming of all that, I think things that matter get lost.
It makes me really back that thought and theory from like the mystic point of view world, where these are totally just those black mirrors that sorcerers used to use, and they've totally got a spell on us. Like, because you're right, just look around anywhere you go. Like, you could even be walking around Walmart, bro, and you'll see people walking down the aisle just like this inside Walmart.
Crossing the fucking street, not even paying attention to the road.
Like zombies.
Someone honked at me today for being on my phone while I was driving.
Mind-controlled zombies.
Oh, yeah?
So look, you guys, Neptune, you said one thing that I really want to get into, and you did too, Jim Bob. The Black Mirror idea, like these obsidian mirrors from like the old school, right?
Yeah.
Mirrors are classically a way of, I think the term is scrying, like divination. And I actually just did an episode on this. Me and Kim did on Patreon. Nice. Talking about mirrors and like just the weird occult history that's around these things.
I just did too. That's so weird.
I mean, it's weird. I mean, I've been seeing stuff about these. There's this company, Kaytlyn, called Two-Way Mirror, and they make all kinds of weird films and shit. And they can do. I hope I can curse on this show. Sorry. Okay. They make like all kinds of weird film. This infinity mirror film that looks like a black hole. And they seem like portals to me. They seem like they're doing some weird black magic with these things, and we see it with our phones too. The mirror.
Yeah. Actually, on my TikTok, the last two videos I posted were about the Hollywood Hills in Rome. I didn't even know about that.
About these like infinity mirror type things.
Yeah, man, they're strange.
Yes. And that goes along like with the infinity mirror as well, because it's a mirror image of Hollywood. Like, it really is.
Have you,
like the Hollywood we see in California?
Have you ever done this with a phone?
Rome. It's called Nemesis, and it is a reflection of California, a reflection of Hollywood. It's so weird.
So there's this cool thing that a friend of mine that I've tried time and time again to get on this show, but he won't do it. But he's a very mysterious fella, and he does do TikTok and stuff, but he did this experiment with TikTok, and it cost him multiple accounts and actually an entire phone device, because weirdly enough, this caused his phone device to fry up. But he took two phones and fixed them camera to camera and created an infinity mirror on the thing. And when he did this, not only did he find the light inside the camera that's like the record light, but it was moving in such a way through each camera that you could see the pic, like if you slowed it down just a fragment, you could see how it was taking, just endless pictures, flash, 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 flash. And for some reason, when he finally got it locked in to create the perfect infinity mirror of itself, both phones shut down. And
Really,
like he couldn't get them to come back up and stuff. And like we've talked about this before, because he used to do some stuff over there with Josh actually on the Red Pill project when I was first getting started over there. And then they kind of bashed butted heads and they went separate ways. But I kept up with Tumultuous because me and him did a lot of research together about the Dyson and dye from for the glasses from They Live.
yeah.
And we actually traced the chemical compound that makes the actual dye all the way back to the Levi Jean Corporation, who currently own the patent for their dark colored jeans.
Huh.
And you have to have high security clearance to even get to the chemical in Levi's to use it.
I'm gonna show you guys something I've never showed anybody before in my house. And like weird stuff happens over in this spot. So I don't doubt that about the phone thing. Okay. So my walls going this way.
Well, you got mirror walls.
Fuck that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this way, and it intersects right here. Okay. Now, used to when I would get ready for work for night shift, oh shit, at night, like nobody would be here, and I would hear knocking coming, like 3 knocks. I never answered them. I'm not fucking stupid. Like who's there? Knock back.
You gotta ignore it.
Yeah, but it hasn't happened in a long time. But I've definitely felt weird things over in this area, like my body tingling and like in this intersection right here. And like my reflection.
Yeah.
Like I have to look at myself out of my peripheral vision, and I swear it looks different out of each angle. Like it's so weird.
So the like the scribe type like you were talking about, or it being used as a portal or Lord knows what when it comes to the mirrors, there's a lot of stuff that was in like our ancient lore that has bumbled over into games like Dungeons and Dragons and card games like Magic and stuff like that. Like it's the same lore, it's just kind of been turned into a complete fantasy thing. And there's a lot of good stuff out there actually with the Black Mirror. I've kind of talked about this a little bit before on an episode before on this Mavora site. And to me, it talks like the most in depth about like where, like kind of how they were used as a gate and such and conversating between each other. Like, I like to think that the wizards of olden times used mirrors to talk to other wizards and possibly even pass around to speak to other wizards and stuff. Because I mean, there's definitely traces of kings and stuff in the past of having a wizard per se. You know what I'm saying? Like on the premises with them. So like it makes me wonder because being married to a witch myself, I'm like, yeah, this stuff exists. So
is she an actual witch or like?
She's a woods witch.
Oh, like a Wiccan type?
Yeah, but a step above that, bro. Like she got really into like the true aspects of like spirituality and who the person Jesus Christ actually was and stuff like that.
And
that's so scary to me, man.
Witchcraft and all that, I don't really care about. It's just when you sacrifice.
No. See, yeah. No, see, we're not. We're working. See, in the aspect of all things that exist, we were talking earlier about the Frankists and stuff and how they were hiding underneath the guise of things to use the cabal in their way. Like believe it or not, of the 2,000 something religions on this planet, at least the 30 of them that I've studied, they all have that cabal or the like the chakras or whatever, the lights from the bottom to the top and stuff like that. They just have different ways of defining them and talking about them and stuff. And like, here's where I get a little controversial, but the person that everybody calls Jesus and considers him a healer, et cetera, he was totally a witch.
Yeah,
He was
for sure.
practicing these crafts and too, but it's like it's the aspect of the whole good and evil, I guess, the light and dark. Good can't exist without dark. Dark can't exist without light, and
Right. I think
there
that
are
he
people that
was.
use that same power, that same occult knowledge, that same mystic knowledge for evil purposes. Where there are people like my wife, for example, that are out here trying to use it to heal people and stuff like that.
Right.
Like
Mm.
she's big into helping folks get their chakras aligned. She can list you the right teas that you need to get to fix an ailment. She's good on making
Yeah.
she makes our soaps and she makes
I mean,
bombs, and
that's been
she's one of
going
our
on for
sponsors actually, Peachy Key
centuries.
Creations. She does a lot of homemade everything because she believes that,
Yeah.
like me, she believes that everything that they
The
can make
government.
that they
Yeah.
can make in like a medical pill form or whatever,
Yeah.
she can make
It's
from the
bad for
yard.
you.
Yeah.
Bad for you. Yeah.
Mm.
But I always
100%.
say that she's a witch because that's just my quick way of defining it. But I mean, I guess in reality, it'd be she'd be more of like the shaman person that you'd come across. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like a shaman healer, like old
Well, I
Yeah, that
school.
mean,
stuff trips me
like I
out, dude.
said, that's
Yeah,
been going on for a really long time. And
absolutely.
I mean,
What I gotta ask, bud, what
I
trips you
think
out?
what?
About the witchcraft stuff, like
Yeah.
it's just I feel like maybe I'm misunderstanding the way that you're saying it or something, but
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of times when human beings feel like good energy is interacting with them,
Uh-huh.
it's negative energy that's disguising itself as good.
Yes.
Like when people think that they're talking with angels, they're really talking with demons that are disguised as angels
Yes.
and shit
Some
like
in
that.
some cases, yeah, I can. Yeah, I see what you're saying with that.
Like back to that
Um,
mirror thing, right? We were talking about the mirrors.
right.
They're targeting with that company, that two-way mirror that are creating those infinity mirrors. They're targeting like rave goers and people that use psychedelics and stuff like that. If you're on psychedelics, you can access those realms easier. And if there's a bunch of portals in front of your face and you're accessing realms like that, some
Mm-hmm.
really, really sideways stuff can go down. So
Sure.
I
I
mean, I
feel like
remember
it's
back in the day
a
getting
risk.
stuck in the mirror.
Getting what?
I remember back in the day getting stuck in the mirror. You know?
Yeah, it's weird. It's strange
Yeah.
stuff. But and then Neptune mentioned something that was so perfect that about the phones. I don't know if you guys have heard of this Calhoun mouse utopian experiment. Had you guys heard of this?
Oh yeah, man. Oh yeah. The what is it? Unit 23 or whatever.
25.
No.
Yeah.
25. Yeah. I back before I got my my big TikTok deleted, I might still have it on my YouTube, but I did a big Unit 25 like video in-depth thing. It was one of my first videos to get me in some trouble because I
Yeah.
was trying to explain what he did. And that actually, I did an entire episode on the Red Pill Project. Makes you think about this one night because it's just
Cool.
so interesting to see.
Yeah. I'm doing
Because
an episode on that next. That's my next episode that we're doing. And it's just a trip, man. Like,
have you gotten to the part where before he was actually science, like an official funded science experiment with it, he got his neighbor to donate him some land where he was just breeding these rats like crazy?
in the forest, yeah, like an acre or quarter acre or something. It wasn't a ton of land, but yeah, it's interesting. And there's a movie that alludes to this stuff that he did called The Secret of NIM. It's about mice, and the NIM in that stands for the National Institute of Mental Health. And this is just out there, dude. And it shows like, the lab that they're going in, you can tell that Fauci's running this lab. There's the beagle puppies that they make reference to. There's like all this stuff that it like points right to Fauci. It's a freaky, freaky movie back from the 80s.
No, the video I was just talking about him being in Rome and in the Hollywood Hills in Rome, he was in Nimis. That was the name of the
NIM, yeah,
place. Was
yeah.
Nimis, which meant Hollywood. It means
Mm,
holy wood.
I actually knew exactly what you were talking about. There's a whole article about that I'll make sure that I share
Yes,
with this
yeah.
episode because
With Diana's mirror and everything, like they would have sacrifice. I mean, back in the, thousands of years ago, would sacrifice these special people that they would call themselves stars, and they would essentially go out into Diana's mirror, which was this huge lake out there. But that place is called Nemes, where they would do all those sacrifices.
interesting.
So that's very interesting to me.
Well, and then when with that movie, because we watched part of it, it's kind of a tough watch. Like it's weird, it's cringy. There's a darkness to that movie, and the leader, there's a rat leader named Nicodemus, and Nicodemus in the Bible was a leader of Jews that didn't follow Jesus. So what does that tell you? This movie is literally saying that this leader of Jews is the rat king. Like Jews are rats. It's like it's right on the nose, dude. It's rough. It's a rough little like reference there.
Sure. No, I mean that's we were actually making reference to talking about that because I'm sure everybody heard today about the whole Kanye mess and
Yeah,
him just sticking his foot in his mouth. But as controversial as it is, that alludes back to something that we've covered frequently on this show and something I kind of talk about a lot where I go is the Frankists, which people are like, what are the Frankists? And I'm like, well, now you call them Zionists. At one point, you called them Jesuits. Before they were Frankists, they were Sabbatians. Before they were Sabbatians, they were Moranos being chased out of Spain. And they all have one thing in common, and they are outwardly whatever religion they need to be to live in the area they're trying to live, whether it be Spain, the Ottoman Empire, Germany.
Yeah.
And they are secretly living this inverted Kabbalistic life where they are using some of this magic and using the Cabal in a negative way, and they hide under the guise of Judaism because if you go after them, they will be like, well, you're anti-Semitic.
just say it's Jewish. Yeah, it's Jews. Yeah,
And
it's crazy.
And they've always held places of power. Even back in the Ottoman Empire, they always worked in government, finance, or media.
Yeah, they did.
Interesting, man.
That's where
dude.
We got most of our influence in America from Rome. All roads lead back to Rome.
Yeah, Rome
Rome
never fell.
Back to Kanye. Kanye, the movie Mirror. Okay.
You think he's controlled opposition? We talk about this. Yeah,
I do.
Yes. Yeah. But the movie Mirror explains it perfectly. His mind is so broken. The poor guy. I'm going into the metal programming next, which I believe that they put the men through and the boys through. I think they put the girls and the women through the jewel programming, but I think they put the men through the metal programming, which is another extension of MK Ultra. But I mean, in the text that he just tweeted out about somebody that's supposed to be
on that segment where on InfoWars where Alex Jones put a tweet out from Kanye's account, or Ye as he goes by now.
Yeah.
And then Nick Fuentes and then Ali Alexander, I think, as well.
He did put it out. And basically the dude was like, we can have an open conversation where we talk about the truth, blah, 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 which is, I don't know if you've ever heard Dave Chappelle's story, but he had people around him trying to convince him he was crazy, trying to convince him to take antipsychotic medication or to get admitted somewhere, trying to convince him he was crazy. But he saw straight through that bullshit. Now Kanye, his personal trainer, I believe this person is the one that had him committed the first time. And when he got back from being committed, he was bleached blonde. which is another sign of MK Ultra and going back
That's
to
like
the
Slim
program.
Shady. You see that with a few people out there. And what school did he go to? UCLA? Was that where the university that they held him at?
Where Kanye or
Kanye, yeah. I thought they sent him to UCLA.
I don't know about that.
Huh.
I don't know about that. The first time they held him, I just know that he was at this trainer's house that he got that text message from the first time he was taken away in handcuffs to the hospital. So he had him committed. So he's probably Ye's handler. I mean, I would think. I think they all have conservatorships over them, not just Brittany.
Yes,
I think they all do.
It was UCLA, and
yeah, I remember that. Isn't that strange?
He's all. Did you know he has a song called "Welcome to UCLA"?
Oh, really?
Is it an old one?
Yeah.
Oh.
Which album?
You know that
Welcome to UCLA, written by Kanye West.
Let's look at the lyrics here.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull that up. Let's see. It was recorded in 2016 during a studio session.
Okay, so this is after.
This is after. Yeah.
I'm going. Yeah, someone read it. If
I got you. Hold on. It says, "Welcome to UCLA. Tell me how UCLA. UCLA. Welcome to UCLA. Tell me how UCLA. I'm going cray. Okay, I guess he's saying I'm going crazy. UCLA. That would be after he went nuts and they took him there, huh?
Tell me how UCLA.
Well, and he's like repeating it over and over again, right?
That's the chorus.
Chanting it. Yeah.
Let's see. Work at the CC. It says that fuck with the dude, CLA, Asian, and fuck from that UCLA. You know what? I bet if I got a buddy that breaks a lot of this stuff down.
Yeah, me too.
And I bet you if I sent this over to him, he would do all his in between the line reading.
There's
a line right there. There's a line right there. It says, "We just selling pussy. He's selling the bunk." I wonder if that's like alluding to sex trafficking.
Probably.
Like through UCLA and like through the because there's a psych ward
and
there.
He what? And he with the
like there's a place in there that they
that's
possibly do things.
Yeah, that's what I think because it's in LA, obviously. Yeah. University of Central Los Angeles, I think is what that stands for. And they have a like a world-class, world-renowned psych department there, from what I understand. So you'd think that they would use some of that Hollywood mind control, brainwashing stuff there. Obviously the kids that aren't, the kids at the school aren't doing it, but some professor, some master of psychology is messing with people.
UCLA psychology department is one of the top psychology departments in the country.
I might look into that in the dual programming before I stop because I already finished the diamond programming one. I need to look at the diamonds that were given as gifts from family members before I actually end that. That's the last thing I have to do. But after that, I'm going into the metal programming, and I believe that's what they do to a lot of men. So we will find out.
Yeah, their psychology section's quite big, apparently.
That's interesting, man. And look at the colors, yellow and blue, son.
Oh,
yep. They're right there.
Always the yellow and blue.
Which I mean that whole Fugazi. I'm surprised they're even being able to hold a story together anymore.
They're not. And that's what was interesting too, watching like Kanye or Ye talk about this stuff now. He's saying all this stuff like he loves Nazis and all this stuff. He's literally saying this, right? And then he's going on to talk like bad about Ukraine, which is weird. Well, I don't know. I don't think he's crazy. A lot of people think that he's crazy. I think that he's put up to make Christianity look bad personally because he's saying all this stuff and then he's got his hand on the Bible while he's doing it.
Interesting.
He's not crazy. He's
That's
got
interesting.
multiple alters because he is broken mentally. He has got
That's
multiple
interesting. Huh.
alters inside of him.
I think he's very sharp, actually. I would disagree with you. I don't think he's
No,
broken.
that doesn't mean he's not sharp at all.
Like, you think he's got
very
like
brilliant.
DID or something, like dissociative identity disorder?
Basically, these people that go through this kind of programming, that's what they do to them. They break their minds.
When he was IC'd, he had been diagnosed with bipolar disorder. So,
but they can do that to you or me too, man. You know, they can do that
Yeah.
to anybody that they want, especially a prestigious
Yeah.
school like UCLA psychology. They can make anyone look crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and I mean, and then you tap
Look
it
what they
in
did
and
to
see
Shane.
Kanye would be somebody that would be a victim of voice to skull technology.
Okay.
Look at what they did to Chappelle. Okay. He said no. And they told him that by the time he got home, they would make him look like a crackhead. And by the time he got home, he was a crackhead. Everybody thought he was on crack. He was on drugs. And he had to leave. And they made up all kinds of stories about him, about the reason why he left. None of them were true. I think he ran away. And if you want my honest opinion, I think he ran away. Sadly, I think that they might have got to him because I don't think he would have ever came back to Hollywood ever again. I think that they found him, and
you don't think it's a clone like I do?
I don't know if it's a clone or if it's
Yes.
somebody else playing him.
Came back from Africa with lighter skin. Like, who does that?
And okay, as a very big Dave Chappelle fan, like
me too. We were watching the show the other day.
I used to watch all his movies, bro, his shows, his stand-ups, like his classic stand-ups.
Yeah.
I was excited for the new stand-ups. I wanted to see what it was. And some of the jokes might be very Dave Chappelle-esque, but the delivery isn't proper.
It's not.
It's not the same delivery.
No, I don't think it's
as a Dave Chappelle fan, I've questioned that for a while, and yeah, I think they finally caught up to him. They finally found him, and then just sent a clone out.
Yeah. I think they use clones in certain situations, but they can't use them all the time. I don't think they have the technology to perfect them to be used all the time. I think for longer situations, they have to use lookalikes.
Yes and no, because I'll tell you right now, cloning's come a long way. For about 50 grand.
It has.
For about 50 grand, you can get a clone of your pet.
Holograms too, dude.
It's come a long way. I'm not saying that.
Have you ever heard of
they malfunction very easily.
True. Have you ever heard of oh my God, why is my brain freezing? I'm sorry.
Is it like where they stand in a box and then they're cast to another location? Is that what you're talking about?
No, actually, I buy into and talk a lot about the actor-based reality theory.
Yeah.
That there are multiple
actors.
Multiple people play multiple roles.
Me too.
Like, because the makeup and mask technology, and even when you get into the computer stuff with like face swap and stuff, is so
Gucci Man and Hobson
now. Oh yeah, and and Hobson admitting that and stuff like that too, and that multiple people have played Gucci Man, but like
I think Sarah Jessica Parker is playing Britney Spears right now.
Interesting. I've actually got some in-depth theories on this and stuff, and I've showed Neptune a few things about this one. I know this one is going to get him because every time I bring it up, he says, man. And it's when I bring up the JFK and Jimmy Carter being the same person, because I can match up.
That's fucking creepy.
And Jimmy
because
Carter
I can match up.
I
can match up their ears, their teeth, and their eyes, which are things that don't actually change, when you get older. You know what I'm saying? Like you got the same earlobes. Earlobes are like fingerprints. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody's got the same earlobes that you've got. And nobody's got the same earlobes that I've got. And like I've gone in depth onto this one, and then of course it goes into the Morgan Freeman is Jimi Hendrix thing. A lot of people try to debunk me on that one, and I'm just like, no. And then And then the last one that really causes controversy, and I actually seen a guy that I've been talking about a lot recently, Parapsych on TikTok. He was talking about it too, but it's about when the shuttle exploded and killed all but it killed all those astronauts.
All 7, yeah.
But yet I can find all of them alive but one today.
I've seen that.
And
I've seen that.
My other co-host that's not here with us tonight, Kel, he's older than all of us. He grew up in the 70s. And he tells me about being in Florida and being like, no, I lived there. There was not a rocket explosion that day. He's like, I don't know what the fuck people are trying to tell people that for. So I'm just like, whoa, hold on. Like that throws a whole other curveball into the scenario.
Swear they watched
everybody's seen it on TV.
Yeah.
You can't believe shit on TV, man.
Nah. But back then they believed everything.
Right, the mind blowing stuff. But you ever get a moment, and I'll share some stuff too, like actor based reality theory. It gets a little, it starts touching in some of them areas like that movie did. That's a little uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, you're just like, holy shit. And when you walk away from it and you start looking, I have been so out of whack when it comes to like movies and stuff. Like I used to be a big movie guy and I used to watch them, but it's been so many years since I've watched movies because all I see is the same actors playing different people. All I see is all of the stuff that, they're pointing out and all the hidden messages and stuff because I know how to read them now. And like, I watch a lot of cartoons, don't get me wrong, but I can stomach cartoons and enjoy a cartoon. Even the cartoons are. But I can stomach the cartoons and enjoy the cartoons compared to, trying to do it with the other stuff when I get into watching things. But I got so bad that I would be sitting in a movie theater and being like, oh well, look, there's that, and they're predicting this, and oh look, there's a message about this. And I was just like, I can't do it anymore.
The Golden Gate, like the Golden Gate Bridge going down next. That'll be the next natural disaster.
Interesting.
Golden Gate Bridge or the Statue of Liberty.
What was you saying there, Ryan?
Oh no, I was just saying that Smile movie. I saw that in theaters, and it's out on I forget what app it's on now, but we're gonna watch that again because it was pretty interesting. Smile. There is an underlying message about it, like trauma and things like that. I
think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's where people are smiling constantly, and like the smile, it's a weird plot.
I've been wanting to watch that.
It's great. I think it's on Showtime now.
But not by myself.
Yeah, don't watch it by yourself. Pretty freaky.
I gotta. I'll hook you up with this too. I like to hook people up with this. I keep it on my little link tree. I'm not sure what app anybody uses. To be honest, the only app I use to watch things is my pirate app that I've been using for probably 10 years now. And wherever it streams, I don't care what it is, this app has access to it because it's borrowing it and not downloading it, so that you can watch things from anywhere in the world for free.
Really?
Oh yeah, bro. Like I've
pay-per-views and stuff too.
Dude, as long as you've got an Amazon Fire Stick, I can hook you up.
Oh, I don't have a Fire Stick. I need to get a Fire Stick. I really need one.
The $20 the $20 you spend for the Fire Stick, or I think it's 30 now. I can give you this. It's an app, and you got to download it off of one of the other markets. You can't download it off like the App Store or whatever. But I got the direct link for it, and it streams movies and TV shows, and you can go through and find it. And there is live stuff and the pay-per-views and stuff that's been coming on in the recent years. And man, I don't know. I quit paying for the TV because I got kids and they like to watch Sesame Street and stuff like that. Don't get me wrong, because they're still little, but like, if I can get it for free without having to pay for it, I'm totally going to do that. And the fact that the streaming services have turned into cable because they're full of commercials and shit anyway. Like, at least when I do this, I'm still not paying anybody. Like, piracy all the way, man. Like,
I think that what it is though too, man, is for them the payment, charging for these services is just an added bonus. I think that they want people to see these things, like Sesame Street, that example you used. That there's some programming in that too.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm not saying for 1 second that kids shouldn't watch it. I watched it as a kid. If I had
But
kids, they'd
there's
be
still
watching that shit.
programming in it. Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
There's
Sure.
programming everywhere, though. You know, as long as you have
Everywhere.
a good relationship with your kids, that programming isn't going to 100%
Right.
like control them. You know,
That's
they'll
right.
just have that influence. But if you're
I
the
feel
strong
like my
influence there, you're
kids have a
good.
good head on their
Man,
shoulders.
you know, I mean, I do understand that. Like, I'm the first one to call out the programming and things like SpongeBob and stuff like that. But
Being
like,
a, being a kid in the 90s was
I love
watching
SpongeBob.
SpongeBob. Being
Yes.
an adult is realizing we should not have watched that when we were children.
No.
Did you
Can you
see
try-
his
No.
address? Is Epstein's address too?
Is-
SpongeBob.
Okay,
Yes.
I don't know about you
I
guys,
have.
but
No, I didn't
like
see that.
I started off
You don't know about
having
that, Neptune?
sex at a very early age. I was like hypersexualized as a young teen and older teen or whatever. And I really think it's because of the shit that we watched on TV. I really do. It's
What
crazy.
what is it? It's supposed to be SpongeBob's house, right?
Yeah, type in probably go to like DuckDuckGo or something and type in like SpongeBob driver's license Epstein address.
Oh yeah.
I got a cool.
I know what you're talking about. I've seen that.
I actually got a cool.
Okay,
Here's something else I'll turn you on
guys.
to, bud. We use a search engine called Giraboo over here.
Oh yeah, Garrett.
What is it?
Giraboo. I'm gonna pull it up right quick. Giraboo.
Giraboo. Okay. Oh,
All right.
cool.
Giraboo will even show you the censored content that Google has.
Gabiru, huh? Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds like
Gibiru. I know. I was just
And of course,
reading
there's
that.
but like there's
Gibiru.
censored content of it or whatever that goes along with it
Okay.
when you're trying to look things up. But I was trying to actually look at the address.
Yeah,
which
go
is right
go to
here.
images.
If you go to the 124, this is the thing.
Yeah,
Go to
dude.
124 and put this in, and we're just gonna go to Google Maps actually because this is where it disproves where Reuters is like, no, that's not true. I've actually done it multiple times.
Yeah, it takes you to a Little St. James, right?
It takes you to Little
Yeah,
St. James.
it does.
It'll take you to Little
I've
St.
seen
James.
it with my own eyes. Seen it.
Oh, look.
with my
Yeah,
own
there it
eyes.
is, dude. That's
124
so crazy.
Conch Street, Bikini Bottom is right there.
Yep.
Shadow Island, dude.
So look, Reuters, your fact check has been debunked right here on the show tonight. Like,
Now click on the geo, like where you can actually see the features, and let's see if they still have the temple there.
I've heard that they don't. Hold on, let me
Okay,
pull-
guys, I gotta get off of here.
I
But it was
understand,
very
Kaytlyn.
nice meeting you, Ryan.
Yeah, great to meet you.
And bye, Neptune. Bye,
Nice
Bob. I'll see you guys later.
I'll see you on the
Okay?
next one, hon. You have a great
All right.
night.
You too. Bye.
But according to this, it looks like it's still there.
Yeah, it'd be up there at the top right. It looks kind of hard to see though.
Try to zoom in. Well, that looks like cabanas and stuff.
Actually, yeah, maybe it's not up there. It might be a little more. I know it's one of.
Wait, that's looks like steps to an amphitheater. Scroll back up a little, Jimmy. Yeah,
This right here?
back up in here to the
That's
thing.
that looks like a pyramid.
Yeah,
Steps to the amphitheater.
yeah, it's like steps to an amphitheater or some shit. Yeah, that could. Wow,
Try
that
it.
doesn't fit. That doesn't track with the rest of what's on that island at all. No, that's kind of.
Where's the damn temple though?
Where's
gotta
the
be-
temple? That is a great question. Is that the temple?
No, it's got like a. It's like a circular.
It was here, or it
Golden-
was
What's
I
the
thought it-
name of this island again?
Little St. James.
Maybe scroll down a little bit and see
Yeah.
if it's at one of these peaks here. Maybe that's it. That's it right there.
That's it right there.
Boom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me
Yeah,
see if
dude.
I can actually bring this up on Google Earth.
Interesting. Bikini Bottom. That's the address of SpongeBob.
So that
Goes
was
right
in
here.
like all of our childhoods. It's kind of interesting, huh?
It really is when you think about it. Like, I'm guilty of saying on there. There's definitely like a lot of innuendo. When you go back and you watch SpongeBob as an adult, and you watch SpongeBob as somebody who can't watch it for the fun of it anymore and is watching it, picking it apart for what it is, you start seeing the calls to all of this stuff, and like, not only like sexualization, but also just like, I don't know, just questioning a lot of things that are current in general. Like, people don't like to believe that there are hidden messages in especially cartoons too, for sure. Don't get me wrong. But like, because what is it? We see things, movies and stuff can play at like, what is it now, 60 frames per second or something like that, or more. And like, our eyes can't perceive that all the way. And so it's very easy in the middle of these frames, and this has been like proven and stuff, to just put things.
Yeah, throw something in.
And you might not see it, but your subconscious did. And that's where like a lot of the putting the fear, I guess, keeping fear in people's mind to keep us at a low vibration is like where like my mind goes with that, because that all goes into like the MK Ultra and the patents for the television being a mind control device like that.
Well, they go back and remaster these old classics too. They're adding some of that stuff in there. They're changing the frequency of it a little bit, or throwing a little like the classic one is like where it shows sex in The Lion King, or the dicks in Little Mermaid, and all that stuff. Doing that kind of stuff. That they're taking classics and like we digitally remastered it so it's clearer, but there's also some of this stuff in here.
A great example of that I like to bring up. I'm into the I can't think of his name now, but the animes, the anime movies, the dude that Disney just bought all of them, but it's like Totoro and stuff like that. Like I really like the movie Totoro. That's the one I'm going to use for the example. And when it was owned by Fox, or at least the movie rights were owned by Fox to come out in America, the dubbed version was unknown actors except for like Christian Bale, and then like it always just had specific memories and stuff to it. Well, Disney got it, and that was the main movie that they remastered, and they redubbed it using like Dakota Fanning and somebody else. And the redub also added a couple scenes and took out a couple scenes. And like, to me, it just changes the entire feeling of the movie, because the voices aren't even the same anymore and stuff. And you're just like what did they do here? And exactly what you're saying there is they've gone back to redo it and be like, hey, this is their most popular movie. We're gonna totally use this one to fill it with a bunch of this subconscious mind control stuff. Because Disney's NASA Junior, which is just Nazi Junior, which is just whatever they were doing over there in Germany as mad scientists. So it's just another I feel that Disney is like the government branch of Hollywood. You know what I'm saying? Because they're the first ones to be able to jump into all of it and try to, be forcing things on their employees and stuff like that. That people don't understand. That's what held up the Black Panther 2 movie for so long from actually coming out, was the girl that is Black Panther in that movie refused to get vaccinated or wear a mask, and it shut down production.
Wow.
And I was just like, yes. Luis is good about telling us about this stuff because he works in some industry. He's the most mysterious man we have on the show. But he tells us about the Great Divide in Hollywood a lot when he's on here. Because when all the COVID stuff started, there was a giant divide in Hollywood. There is still a lot of people there that are like, no, we're not doing this shit. Even though the media portrays all the favorites, as, hey, get your mask and get rid of your Tesla and buy a Volkswagen electric instead, because it's not Nazi.
Go ahead, man.
Yeah, I want to close the loop on a thought, talking about predictive programming just for a minute. I don't have a whole lot of other comments to add here tonight, but talking about predictive programming, talking about Hollywood's relationship with the rest of society, I think, in especially peddling movies, whatever you think of them, whether it's actually half decent quality content or if it's just absolute horse shit. I think for a lot of them, when they put celebrities into the public eye, it's not really a surprise. They expect celebrities to be a driving vehicle. So do this or we're canceling you. I think that kind of goes without saying, but anyone who goes against the grain, they get shamed in the public eye, regardless. And I'm leaving Kanye out of this just for the sake of this argument, but
sure.
In the application of how that relates to the content we watch, it's predicted that we watch the actors they want us to watch in the assumption that we are also going to do what they say collectively as a society, because hey, I make money, fuck you, listen to what I'm saying to you. So I think there is a pretty strong correlation between those two things, and I think that's how the people obviously on the fringes of Hollywood, how they wind up ousted and they get distanced away. I'm really just scratching the surface there. I mean, not even touching child actors and the metric fuck ton of shit that happens to them and all the mental health problems they develop as they become older.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's freaky stuff, dude. It's there is a ton. I'm trying to think of like the last like huge predictive programming example that I saw in something where I was just like, holy shit. That I guess that NIMH thing was pretty intense, watching the NIMH movie yesterday. But yeah, man, it's everywhere. It's in every single thing.
There was a lot of COVID ones like that.
Sure.
That you can go back and look at. A lot of those.
I almost feel like, because I've gotten away from making as many 1984 references as I used to, but I almost feel like the movie They Live is them telling on themselves, knowing that they can get away with it and just laugh at everybody.
Mockery.
Well, that's what Revelation of the Method, I think, kind of has something to do with that too, where if I forget where I heard the example, it's a guy that I don't even like, but I just forget who it was. But he was saying, like, if I have this apple stand and I'm saying that I'm selling poison apples, right? And you come up and you buy one of the poison apples you eat when you die, that's not murder, technically, right? But if I'm selling apples and it just says apples, but I'm poisoning them behind your back, and you come and you buy one, then I'm poisoning you and I'm killing you. It's like that. So I don't know. It's interesting. Yeah, it seems like they have to definitely tell us what's going on, what they're doing. Maybe it's kind of a joke to them, or maybe it has some sort of like karmatic property to it where they have to do this in order for them to stay at the top where they're at and to keep us at the bottom where we are. But I was going to say, speaking of Hollywood, how we are, have you, Jim, looked into the idea of all like Redhead cast members and story people that hold stories in comic books and movies, redheads getting replaced by black people? Have you looked into this?
You're actually not wrong. That is something that's going on. They are replacing all of my brethren with the red hair there to not only black folks, but I've been seeing them being replaced by other ethnicities as well. And I don't understand why they're going after us. Like, what did I do?
Dude, I'm
just
have
a
no idea.
bro.
But it's interesting, since you're good with the computer there, Jim Bob, maybe if you wanted to pull up like, list of redheads being replaced by African Americans or black people, whatever works. And dude, there is a long list, and they show pictures like from like one link at least that I saw. And it's like, it's just interesting. Obviously Ariel being the newest and like kind of the most high profile.
Every single redhead character that has been replaced or race swapped.
Is that what it says? Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, it's on Bounding into Comics.
Yes, dude.
There's two video formats of it right here, but there is a list of it. There's Cyclone. I was looking at it before, actually, right? Pictures are going to pop up. They're just being slow. I was looking at it a second ago. They were actually trying to list all of them, But yeah, like that's what she looks like in like the comic book. This is what she's gonna look like in Black Adam.
Who's this?
Maxine. Yeah, Hunkle is still talking about the same chick that's going.
Oh, okay.
And then Hawk Girl. This was one that I knew actually. They replaced Hawk Girl. She used to always be a redhead. They race swapped her back on the live action show.
It's so strange.
Iris West, new Iris West in the Flash. Jimmy Olsen.
Yeah, Superman's friend, right?
Yep.
He's a black dude right there.
He's a black dude right there. Yeah, dude. Like they did. Oh yeah, the Flash. That Wally West. They did that on the show too.
It's weird.
That is it. And I knew about Starfire. They did that in the live action too.
I'm a fan of that one.
Actually, yeah, I think they did a good job casting that. I actually did watch this show.
Really?
Yeah,
I was just talking about it looks.
I dig the Titans. Like they did a real good job on that show. Like I'm a superhero nerd. I've got a giant Joker tatted.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Like I've always been kind of a superhero nerd, so this one threw me for a loop with the Batwoman one too. Actually,
yeah. The next one I'm looking for is like Poison Ivy. You know,
April O'Neil from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what she looks like now, in the comics or cartoons or whatever.
April O'Neil.
Jim Gordon.
Looks like freaking. Is that what's his name? That looks like the scientist guy. Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Oh, I don't think it's him, but
Jeffrey Wright.
Jeffrey Wright, yeah, that's who played him in the most recent Batman depiction.
Jeffrey Wright's a good actor, though. So
Heimdall was. I mean, but I don't know. Idris Elba being Heimdall, kind of. I dug that.
But like, it's just interesting because it's annoying and it's obvious when they do this with black characters. I'm not racist, and no one ever accuses me of being racist because of this. But like, there's a lot of this nostalgic stuff that's being remade, and they're intentionally changing the races of these characters that were part of a lot of people's childhoods, and it's messing with people. It pisses people off, and it's obvious that it's not just because you put someone of a different skin color in a movie, it doesn't mean that you're ending racism at all. If anything, you're drawing more attention to it. So it's just weird. It's a weird move that they're doing, especially with this redhead to black thing.
I never thought about this like that though, but like now that I've seen it, but now that you're pointing it out, and I'm really looking at it, at just how many of them there is, because the list does keep going. I'm definitely going to share this link with the episode. But it does seem that just about every redheaded character they can get their hands on, they are changing, and that
coming after you.
That is interesting. Like, and the reason I say that's interesting is because redheaded people are, you always hear the myth that they're all related to one person or whatever, and blah blah blah. But
giant DNA.
I run back to the giant DNA because the red-headed giants are something spoken of in North and South Americas, over there in the Middle East, over in Russia, even, and in parts of China. There are depictions, and Australia as well. There are depictions and historical stories of red-headed giants. And I wish Bandit was here with us tonight, because he always loves to jump into the one that they shot in Afghanistan, the giant of Kandahar.
I was just thinking about that too, because if you look back far enough, you will find old representations of Prophet Abraham, and he is dark skinned, but he almost very clearly looks like he has red hair. Makes you wonder if he was a giant.
Genghis Khan as well. There is evidence to show that he was a redheaded giant and not of Asian descent like everybody says that he is, and agreed upon history.
It's interesting, man. Yeah, don't you guys? There's that myth. Obviously, this seems really hard to prove, but don't redhead people feel pain less than like the
Different
other.
level.
My
Yes.
brother is a ginger. He is full-blooded Irish, natural redhead ginger, and yeah, he's probably got enough B12 in his system. He could probably punch a freight train to stop it.
I'm
Seriously, yeah, he's almost immune to all painkillers.
okay, so I'm a day walker. My hair on top of my head's blonde, but my
You're talking about like South Park?
yeah. But my beard is red. Like when
Yeah.
you're up talking to me, my beard's as red as it can be all down here in the bottom and stuff. But I've got blonde hair, and so I've got the partial ginger thing going on, and the pain index is way different. And anytime that I have had to go in for weird things, because believe it or not, a good story to get into is when I had my face completely split in half because I was trying to save my pet from two Rottweilers using him as a chew toy.
Oh, nice.
And I learned real quick that you don't kiss a Rottweiler because, that wasn't really a kiss that he was giving you. And I was split from inside my nose all the way down, chipped my tooth, and all the way wrapped around. You could see everything. It was hanging open. I didn't.
Were you a kid?
Huh?
Were you
No.
a kid?
No, this was within 10 years. It's been less than 10 years since it happened. I was still married to my first wife, but I ran in the house when it happened because I was like, damn, I thought we had butted, and I thought my nose was bleeding because I immediately seen blood. And I ran into the house and I'm in the kitchen washing my face. And she's like, well, let me look at it. And I turn around and look at her and she goes, oh my God, we have to go to the hospital. I was like, it can't be that bad. She goes, go to the bathroom. And I ran in there and looked in the mirror and I could literally see bone and muscle and my nose hanging in half and stuff like that. So I was like, oh shit, I got to go to the hospital. And like everybody asked me to this day, they're like, well, didn't it hurt? And I'm like, I don't know if it's adrenaline or if it's just because of my redheaded superpower. Like, no. And like I didn't feel it. I didn't feel, they tried to give me medicine for it, but I didn't hurt, I guess, like normal people would. What hurt was removing the stitches when the guy had to set a pair of forceps up inside my nose to snip them out. And like, I was like, I'm going to hit you. Please strap me up. And he was like, nah, man, you'll be all right. I was like, please tie me down because I'm going to hit you because my body reaction is to swing when you're up there in my nose. Like I'm just telling you now.
Dude, that happened to me. I don't know if you've ever gotten a colonic before, but the first time that I got a colonic, this chick shoved this thing so far at my ass that my reaction was just to swing. And I didn't, but I was so close to it because they don't tell you, right? But it's supposed to like help you lose weight and like you get a bunch of like nasty shit that's been in your body for like years. But I didn't realize that this shit was going out and it fucking freaked me out, dude. It was so scary, but I know what you're talking about. Swinging out of defense.
Yeah, just the body's natural reaction because you're just like, oh, what the hell? Like
when something's going inside you, you usually want to swing, whether it's your nose or your ass. It's scary.
I mean, dude, I cannot disagree with that. Like,
but yeah, man.
But like the pain aspect thing, like I definitely will get into that because I've had I've broken so many bones and shit like that, and like I don't ever remember being that guy that was like, oh God, somebody call the ambulance. I was like, oh fuck, I can't tell my mom, she's gonna whoop my ass.
Yeah, like when you get in like a fight situation, like with the dog, or in an actual fist fight or something. Yeah, the pain is different. It probably, there is adrenaline there too, but I wonder if maybe there's like a little extra adrenaline that redheads have or something. There's something to it, but it's definitely interesting. We did a kind of a casual episode on me and Ghosted on like a little bit of history about redheads because I found this really interesting file, and we were just kind of going through it. Talking about like, Ireland and Ukraine and all these different areas, the tribe of Dan, I'm sure you've heard of them. A lot of that stuff and it was just a casual thing. But dude, like, I'm not even kidding. Like 100 redheads all reached out and they're like, that was awesome. And like, redheads actually a minority group. And, just hearing so many people just interested in that is it makes me more interested in it for sure. So yeah, I definitely want to learn more about that whole, the history there because it's interesting.
Have you ever met redheads of like other ethnicity?
Like Mexican, yeah, for sure.
I had an African American one work for me when I was a restaurant manager years ago, and which was super interesting because they were lighter skinned, covered in freckles, and had
Yeah,
red
yeah.
hair. And then a buddy of mine dated an Asian chick that had naturally red hair for a little while, and that was just mind-boggling. My brain couldn't process it when I would
Yeah.
look at her. I was just like, you don't look right.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's a weird thing. It's like the like black albino people. It's a weird look, but it's very. I mean, I'm not saying that they're ugly or anything. It's just a
No.
weird look.
It's
But
super, and a lot of them, and nothing against them because I actually know a couple and they're awesome people. So
really, you know, a couple,
because
they're like the rarest people in the world.
not, you know what, down here in Georgia, I've seen more in the state of Georgia than I think I have anywhere else.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting, man.
And we also have a lot of people have that skin. I have met more than 20 people with that skin thing where they have like a lot of white patches.
Vitiligo.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, vitiligo. Yeah, yeah.
Like well, people say that that's not supposed to be that common, but like I've seen it a bunch in my life. Like I don't, I don't know. But they're most of them, a lot of them with the albino folks, they have that thing with their eyes where their eyes don't sit still.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like a nerve thing.
Yeah, it's something like where their eyes are scanning constantly.
My first wife was albino. Yeah.
Interesting.
Really?
I didn't know that,
she had vision impairment. Yep.
Yeah.
And she had red eyes and everything.
She did not. She had stage 1 albinism. Stage 1 is blue eyes, or rather lack of pigment in the eyes. But they would appear blue. They were technically categorized as gray, as was her hair, even though her hair would in the sun look blonde. And yeah, she had met at some point, she had met a baby who did have red eyes, who had no pigment in their eyes at all.
Wow.
And they could not go out in the sun.
Dude, that stuff it's crazy, huh?
Yeah, it's wild shit for sure.
The red eyes are a little uncomfortable when you're sitting there talking to them like that.
That little boy was like 7 years old at the time that she had met him. She was
makes you think children of the corn.
Yeah, she was an intermediary at the middle school in the town we lived in at the time.
And then I make costumes, so I hang out in the con scene a lot. And you'll go to some of these comic book conventions and you meet all kinds of interesting people at those. And that's actually where I know my albino folks from, because there's a whole clique of them that gather at Dragon Con.
That's funny, man. That's pretty cool though. I still want to go to one of those things.
Oh man, listen, the very first one I ended up at was a complete accident. Me and the guys were supposed to have we were going to do like a camping shooting weekend kind of thing, and a hurricane moved into our end of the state and fucking rained us out. And so me and my one friend that were still like we're going to do something because our wives, well, ex-wife let us do things that weekend. We just got in the car and started driving, ended up in South Carolina on Myrtle Beach. And I found this little small con that at the time had like Michael Roker and a couple other people that were just coming up in The Walking Dead and stuff. And I was like, hey, let's go in there. It cost $10. And I was there again the following year with costumes in hand, ready to go, and like hooked ever since. And
nice.
I've built a bunch of elaborate, wild things. My actually this year's Halloween costume, I brought the 90s Batman the Animated Series, Mr. Freeze. I brought him to life like that. I don't know. I found a knack for it. I always wanted to get into like prop making and stuff. I was a big Jim Henson fan growing up, and like I always wanted to make things. But when I learned that Hollywood was as twisted as it was, I was like, well, I guess I can just make them for myself. Like,
that's all that matters, dude. You gotta have like a hobby, man.
Yeah,
some kind of hobby to keep you sane. If you can get money for it too.
I've sold a couple. I've sold a couple costumes, and then I've made a couple for other people. I tend to just make my own, but like I don't know. I found a knack for it, and I just make it out of Goodwill stuff. So like, it doesn't cost me an arm and a leg or anything like that. I can make this elaborate costume, and I made it out of garbage that somebody else was throwing away.
Yeah, that's dope, dude. Hell yeah.
Yeah, it's something to pass the time, man.
Hell yeah, that's good, man. Good
So,
shit.
you know, I guess we're getting around to about our wrap up time. We usually run about an hour and a half or so, and I do appreciate you coming on, even though you were a little late. It's all good, you know. You
I know I
listen.
feel so bad, but I appreciate you guys being cool about it very
Hey,
much.
man, you know what? Better late than never. You don't know how many people have last minute canceled on me like that instead of just showing up late. So I appreciate it. I think it's been a fun time tonight.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the talk with both of you guys. It was nice to meet you, Neptune. Obviously, Jim Bob, fun to talk again.
Yes,
And
yes.
yeah, man, no, we gotta try and hopefully do more of these group chats, like with like talk at the tavern, and those things are just fun, just to have like groups of
Man,
people just kind of shooting the shit.
anytime you want to come on back over, you know, you're more than welcome to come back over. You met two of the crew, and there's still four other co-hosts that you didn't even
Nice.
get to speak to tonight. You met the other one when me and Luis were on Talk at the
Yeah,
Tavern, but I mean that's just kind of how we roll, man. We've always got good conversation and good perspective coming in from all different kinds of angles. It keeps it going and keeps it from being like a one-way street. You know what I mean?
yes.
We don't dig that too much. We like to have those different opinions to keep the mind going, and we're good about bringing on people that are coming up with innovative things for a better tomorrow too. Like that's something we're all working on to show everybody we're more alike than we are different, and it's time to do away with the current system as best as we can.
I agree, man. I definitely agree with that. We've been learning a little bit about like becoming a state national and things like that, and it's very interesting to me. You mentioned not paying, not wanting to be involved in the system and things like that, and just paying all this attention to this nonsense. And it seems like the best possible way is to just get out of it altogether. But I don't know the reality, like how much is made up and how much is legit.
You know, I've heard a bunch of the state and national stuff, and I've talked to different people from different aspects of it. I've got a friend of the show that has come on here, and he's done the whole shit and shebang from beginning to end, got all of his paperwork and stuff like that, and he swears by it. And then I got some people that are like, man, it's a scam. And then you got me, who I'm just like, you know what? I'm a pirate, and I don't believe in any of the paperwork to begin with. So fuck it. I'm just going to continue to do what I want.
Well, if it works, man, if it works, then that's good. Do you if you don't mind me asking, just because I'm curious about this, do you work a day job, or do you kind of like do your own self hustle, like you're your own boss type thing?
I do work a day job, but I work for an old company that was started in the late 70s and is still run like it was then.
Okay.
And there's like 12 of us there, and the boss man just pays me what I need without any trace of having to worry about things.
Nice.
You know,
That's the way to do it.
yeah, there's a lot of good things to do it. I'll be real with you. I don't care. Like I don't think that there's a lot like as much as I can find ways around things, I will.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
I'm kind of learning how to do that.
yeah, I found that to be better than just being like, well, I'm just not going to take part in the system, or I'm just, oh, the whole system, this, that, and the other. I do just enough of the system to keep them off my back. Like, yeah, I've got a driver's license. Yeah, I've got a plate on my car. But like, there's other aspects they have plenty of things that I do that are technically against the law or against code or whatever and stuff like that. And I'm just like, suck it, dude. Like, are you really going to come out of your way to come into the deep, dark corners of the end of my driveway up here near all these animals and chance coming past that gate?
Yeah.
Like, are you? Like,
Dude, yeah, not you wouldn't think so, man. But yeah, I'm very interested in that whole lifestyle. I quit my job recently, and I got this app called Nerd Wallet, and it kind of
yeah,
tracks what you spend money on, just for your own reference.
yeah.
And people might talk a little bit of crap about that, thinking that well, you're giving all your data, dude. All your data is already out there. If you got a cell phone, if you got online banking, Yodlee tracks all your spending, and it's going into your social credit score. So I might as well use this for a reference. And my first month not working at this job, getting, a check every single week, my spending dropped way down. I'm still just as broke as I was, but I'm just spending less money. So my point is you can get by with all this stuff. So I'm trying to learn more how to get around some of these things that you feel like are necessities and they just simply
Man,
aren't.
I ran Uber for a little over a year in between some jobs or whatever, and that was the only thing I was doing. And just I found a knack for it, kind of like you were talking about with the DoorDash and stuff like that. I didn't care too much for delivering food just because that was my other side gig. Was I've I've got an in with Domino's for the rest of my life because no one my picture is on their wall in their main office and in Atlanta because
Really?
because no one can make a pizza faster than me.
Nice.
And it's been like that since 2005.
That's funny.
In fact, I'm the standard. You get a pin if you can make them as fast as I could, but nobody's yet to beat the record. But that's like that's beside the point. But it's like it's stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just I don't know. It ties back in that way, I guess.
Oh yeah, yeah. Good for you, man. That's cool.
It's just stupid shit, man. You know, it was just things when I was young and I was gung ho and trying to naive to the system. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I was 18, 19 years old and I was just out there trying to do my best. And now I get away from doing anything, you know, as much as I can. Like I said, you know, like in the state of Georgia, there's a lot less regulation out here in these podunk places because there isn't code enforcement. There's only literally only 2 or 3 cops to work each shift for an entire county. You know what I mean? Like it being in these podunk type places.
You guys don't all kill each other somehow? That's crazy.
Right?
That's
Isn't
crazy.
it? Isn't it? It's so nuts. And we actually talk to our neighbors and we swap things and barter instead of having to pay for stuff all the time.
That sounds fake. That's not real.
A dozen eggs will get you pretty far, bro.
Oh, no kidding, man. You know, I live kind of out in a rural area too, but it's really unfortunate that my neighbor across the street is one of the worst people I've ever interacted with in my entire life. Just a rotten person.
Oh, she's Karen.
She goes beyond a Karen. She's like the final boss in the Karen video game.
Oh, so she's a Nancy.
A Nancy?
Yes.
Sure. If that's what it is.
The mother of Karens.
The mother of Karens. Yes, she's a Nancy. I mean, she has a donkey and like the neighborhood's got to shut down when she walks her donkey. Like she's called the cops on me for having my dogs in my front yard before because I don't have a fence around my property. Yeah. But my dogs go outside and they do their business. She'll call the police and like, dude, she's awful, man. I almost beat her husband's ass or her boyfriend's ass one time and they've left me alone since then. But it was actually her husband and her brother. And I almost beat both these old motherfuckers down, but they were so they chilled out now.
We had one of my pigs likes to wander up and visit my neighbor's house, and they just shoo him back down to the house. Half the time they just feed him. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's like, stop feeding him. That's why he keeps coming over there.
Yeah. He knows where the food's at.
Like it's good to have. I don't know. It's good to have a sense of community, and it's something I do promote on here a lot. Is I think smaller. We talk about balkanization and stuff, and I think that like smaller communities is the way to go. And me and Bandit joke all the joke kind of semi-serious all the time that we just need to give it up, and all of us like-minded people need to go in together and make our own community and just fucking. I don't care if they call it a cult or not. Like, if we get enough of us together. I totally know where there's this island that we could probably take it over with only like 30 men. And, you know, we have to get rid of all the weird sex dungeon stuff, but I bet the island will be really cool to own afterwards.
It might be. There might be some bad energy there, but, you know.
We can get it cleansed. There's always a way to cleanse the energy.
Sure. Yeah, but yeah, it's been a ton of fun, guys. It was really nice to really honored to be on the show here.
Well, and one more time before you go, man, where can these folks find you at, bud?
Yeah, Dangerous World Podcast. I have a Patreon. It's just patreon.com/Dangerous World Podcast. I put a lot of bonus content on there. I try to, this is my main source of income is the podcast. So, that's my link tree. I was like, that looks familiar.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, it's just, trying to, do the grind. I don't put much effort into my YouTube. But I put the link there on Linktree.
I totally hang out with you over here. This is where I find you at.
Instagram, yeah,
man. That's
I like Instagram. It's my favorite. It's my social media of choice.
Nice. Yeah, I think we've all got different ones like that we got. So Instagram grew on me. It wasn't my favorite place before, but I kind of dig it. And I've met a lot.
Once I figured out the format to actually do memes that actually fit on Instagram, I don't mind it anymore. That was a pain in the neck because I make so many memes that it was like it has to be an exact number of pixels, and it's like, okay, shit, how do I do this? It took me like 2 years, but I finally figured it out. So
there you go, man. Yeah, I'm a visual person, so I like it. I
love Instagram because I've met tons of fantabulous folks like yourself, sir, and like that's why I dig it, man. Like, so I think it's a great place to hang out. And Bandit, you got any last minute words for us tonight before we sign out?
Neptune does not. Bandit probably has nothing to say.
My bad, Neptune. Listen, I'm not gonna lie. I'm stoned. I've been sitting here smoking my stony vape. And
I'm just busting your chops, man. Nah, I'm all good over here.
Well, of course, before I sign out, you guys know that I've got to leave you with something funny because this is just my cheesy way of doing my show. So, why did the pirate put a moldy old piece of fruit on his shoulder?
Was it a pear? Is there something with a parrot?
So he could talk to his pear rot.
Yeah.
You guys have a fantastic evening.